Hello and welcome to Dad's Desk. This is Rusty. In this tutorial, we will learn how to use text boxes in Visual Basic. Now, I've already created the basic project. I just have a form named FRM main. I've set the start position to center screen, kind of did a seashell background, and then I went in because, as you know, in this edition of Visual Studio 2015, it doesn't really reset or rename all of the objects even though I told it to. So I need to go up here to my project name, text boxes right there, click the right mouse button, come down to properties and change the startup form, as you can see I did, to FRM main instead of form 1. Then I can just close that. So let's add our text boxes. To do that, we'll just simply come over to the toolbox and get a text box right there. This one. Now for this project, we're going to have our user enter in a last name, then another text box for a first name, and a third text box for the department. And when they click the submit button that we will create, we will display the last name, then a comma spacebar, the first name, then a spacebar, dash spacebar, and the department. We'll format all that. Usually I would do something like this using variables, but for right now, we'll just look at a very simple, basic way to do this. Okay, and we'll come up here and name this one txt last name with a capital L and N. Then I'll just copy this a couple of times. So I'll copy, and then Control V to paste, and a Control V to paste. And you notice I didn't quite get them spaced evenly, so we'll take care of that in just a moment after I name these. TXT first name, and this one TXT department. There we go. And to space them evenly, I'll select one of the text boxes and then hold down the Control key and left mouse button on the others that I need. Come up here to Format, Vertical Spacing, Make Equal. Bingo, that aligns everything very, very well. Now let's add some label boxes over here to the side just as prompts for what they should be entering in. The difference between a text box and a label box, for the most part, is that a text box accepts input from the keyboard and can display text, whereas a label box just displays only. So a text box accepts input and displays. A label box displays only. You can't enter from the keyboard on a label box. So let's add those. Get a label, and we'll drag that one into position about right there. You can see the little snap to grid lines that appear. Making sure I get things lined up. We'll call this one LBL last name, and we'll give it a text of, sorry about my pronunciation there, last name, colon, and then I'll just copy and paste that one into position and paste again into position. We'll call this one, since I'm on the text, we'll just change it to first name and a name of LBL first name. And this one will be LBL department or LBL DEPT. Kind of shorten that up just a little bit. And then department. Colon symbols on that. Okay, that's pretty good there. I might adjust that one later on. We'll go in now and add a couple of buttons. Let's get the first button here. This is going to be our submit button. Let me put it right about there. We'll give it a name of BTN submit and a text of ampersand submit. So we can have a shortcut key. And let's change the background to, instead of the sienna, change the background here to, instead of seashell, let's make it sienna. And we'll make the forecolor white, because that shows up a little bit better. There we go. Custom and white there. And we'll just copy and paste that into position, because this will be our clear button or reset button. Take your choice on how you want to name it. Call it BTN clear with a text of ampersand clear. There we go. Okay, let's get to coding. We'll go ahead and double click on the submit button, and I'm going to pause the video for just a moment while I put in my documentation up here at the top. There we go, just added in some very basic documentation there. Then I'll come down within my submit button and we'll say displays the entered data. And I just realized I don't have any place to display that, so let's go get one more label box. I know I forgot something. There's my label box. We'll put this up at the very top up here. Let's give it a name of LBL display. There we go. We'll change the auto size to false. The background color, I'm going to make it white with a border style of fixed single. Kind of drag that out just a little bit like that. The text alignment position, I'm going to make that on my middle left, and we'll just delete the text that's in there right now. Okay, very, very good. Now we can go back to our coding and we will say here that let's just say do a little with me statement so that I don't have to type in me for each of the objects. So say with me, and then we'll do a .lbl display dot text equals, and I want it to equal whatever is in txt last name dot text. So txt last name dot text, that property, spacebar, and then I want to concatenate or add two. I want to make all of this one, so I'm going to, in a sense, say plus, but in Visual Basic we do an ampersand. Now I could continue this all on one line, so I'll put the comma in here. I'll do a double quote because it's not the contents of the text box, so I don't include that in my double quotes. I'll do a comma, spacebar, double quote, spacebar, and ampersand. And like I said, I could continue this all on the line, but I'm just going to go to the next line, and that will be fine. In earlier versions of Visual Basic, you could also enter in the... Okay, sorry, I had to pause for a moment to answer a telephone call. Anyway, we can have, in earlier versions, you would also have to do an ampersand, spacebar, underscore, and the underscore in some earlier versions said, hey, everything is continuing on the next line, because you will notice even right now it's expecting some more because I have my little red squiggly, but that's okay. It'll work out in the end here. Then we'll say we want to add to that .txt first name .text spacebar ampersand spacebar ampersand, or double quotes rather, spacebar dash spacebar double quote spacebar ampersand, there we go, and then .txt department .text. There we go. Very, very good. Okay, let's just give this a very quick run, and then we'll code the exit or the clear button. All right, so we'll go up here and click on start and see how all of this works for us. It should work fine. There we go. So we'll put in the last name. We'll say last name Bago. Oops, get up and click into that one because I selected outside of it. First name Winnie. Department, they're in our vacation department. We click on submit, and bingo, there we go. Bago Winnie, Winnie Bago, dash in vacation. Excellent, exactly what we'd like. Okay, all right, let's go in and code the clear button now. So if we want to play with this a couple of times, on this one, we'll just say that it clears the form. And again, a little with me statement on this one. Now on text boxes, there's more than one way that you can clear them out or set them back to a null character. One way is to just say .txt last name, and I'm just doing this in the order that they show on the form, .clear open close parentheses. You can also say .txt first name .text equals two double quotes. Notice there isn't a space bar or any characters between the double quotes. It's just two double quotes. It sets it to a null character. And then .txt department .text. Those of us who are kind of old school, this is probably the way we grew up learning how to do that. Now on a label box, you only have the .lbl display .text equals double quotes like that. The other thing that we could do, we might want to do, is also put our cursor up in last name, okay? And I like to keep all of the object properties together, so after I did the last name here, we can do .txt last name .focus. open close parentheses. Very good, very, very good. And you'll notice that the advantage to doing the with me statement is that I don't have to type in me for each one of these. I can do it with me, and it says, hey, with this particular object, change these. And I could have even said with me.txt last name, and then within that one say .clear and .focus. It's just kind of cleans up the code a little bit. And for every with me, there's an end with. Okay, so enough on that one. Let's try this once more. And on this one, last name Bush, first name Rose. Oops. And they are in the gardening department. There we go. Click on submit. Bingo. Click on clear. There we go. Clears everything out. Puts my cursor back into my last name text box. Okay. I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial on how to use text boxes. Thank you for watching.